Sunday on Denver 7.
The outbreak has continued to grow.
A public health emergency declaration for monkeypox this weekend, where case numbers stand in Colorado today, and what you should do if you think you've been exposed. Plus,
but there is no obligation that people have air conditioning in their homes.
Extreme heat is hitting parts of the U.S. hard, and while temperatures in the metro are letting up for now, we're taking a closer look at your rights if your AC goes out this summer. And buy now, pay later. This option may be helpful if you're back to school shopping online today, but there are things to be wary of before you agree to pay over time at checkout. Good morning and welcome to Denver 7 News. I'm Jessica Crawford.
And I'm Katie LaSalle. Thank you so much for joining us here. Let's start with some stories we're following for you this Sunday. Well, Sexy Pizza's Capitol Hill location is closing its doors after today. A co-owner with the Colorado pizza chain says they didn't renew their lease because of an ongoing dispute over rocks outside of their building put in place by the property owner. The rocks were laid out to stop anyone living with homelessness from camping out in front of the pizza shop. Well, our partners at the Denver Post report one of the shop's co-owners did used to be homeless and does not agree with the building's owner's decision to put the rocks out front. After the shop off 11th closes today, you can find Sexy Pizza at their other locations at Jefferson Park and Old South Pearl.
The Larimer County Dive Rescue Team is celebrating 50 years of service today, and you can get in on the fun. Starting at 1 o'clock, you can get an inside look at the dive truck and boats that the team uses, as well as learning about water safety and that you can use for the rest of the summer.
Also, the Dragon Boat Festival continues today at Sloan's Lake.
It's been a couple years since the festival was in full swing because of COVID and toxic algae. Races start again today in about an hour, and there's more than 40 teams and more than 70 food and retail vendors for you to enjoy the largest Asian American Pacific Islander celebration in the state. And our Jessica Porter will be emceeing the event starting at 11 o'clock, and Denver 7 is a proud sponsor of it.
We're going to be dodging some rain later on this afternoon at the Dragon Boat Festival, or really anything you're doing across the state. Do be prepared for some much cooler temperatures and more widespread rain moving in for this afternoon and evening. This morning, though, it is a really gorgeous start to our Sunday as the sun comes up from our Lookout Mountain camera from Westminster. A mix of sun and clouds, a little more moisture in our atmosphere for today. It'll lead to some pretty unsettled weather as we get into this afternoon, starting in the mountains, spreading east over the plains. This morning, we're waking up to low 60s, Denver up through Greeley and Fort Collins, 40s and 50s into many of our mountain communities. Walking the dog out and about today, it'll be a lot more comfortable. You can see by noon getting to 81 degrees, about 10 to even 15 degrees cooler than what we've experienced over the past couple of afternoons. We're looking at low to upper 80s, Denver, Fort Collins, Greeley, and over northeastern Colorado. 60s and 70s return to the mountains. We'll talk more about the risk of flash flooding with more of that moisture moving in this afternoon and some heavy rain possible for the I-25 corridor and east coming up in your full forecast.
This morning, monkeypox is now a global health emergency. World health leaders made the declaration Saturday afternoon, and we've seen some cases here in Colorado recently. Denver 7's Micah Smith is live with us now to give us some perspective on where things stand in our state. Micah.
Jessica, state health officials say right now we have about 36 cases of monkeypox in Colorado, and state health officials are trying to vaccinate as many Coloradans as possible to fight this virus. Let's talk about what monkeypox is. It's in the smallpox virus family. It causes fever, headaches, muscle aches, swollen lymph nodes, and all of those symptoms are followed by a rash. The incubation period is between a week and 14 days, with symptoms appearing between 5 and 21 days. Now, the good news, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment has been administering first doses of the FDA-approved vaccine over the past few weeks. However, it is in short supply, so administrators are working on figuring out a way to give Coloradans the required 2-dose series right now. But just like the COVID vaccine, the CDC says the first dose will offer early protection. Now, health officials are taking a closer look at if this virus is present in certain bodily fluids. They say that will help them fight this. If you suspect that you or someone you know has monkeypox, you should get tested. There is a site at the Denver Sexual Health Clinic where you can get a test, and the public health clinics in Jefferson and Mesa counties have tests available as well. Reporting live, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
Micah, thank you. Take a look at this video. There is now a state of emergency in effect as the Oak Fire in California spread over nearly 12,000 acres and destroyed 10 structures just this weekend. CAL FIRE estimates the blaze burning near Yosemite National Park is 0% contained as of now. Firefighters estimate 2,000 structures are being threatened by this massive blaze, and more than 350 firefighters are working to contain it. Meantime, much of the country is dealing with intense heat. In South Dakota, officials say a 22-year-old hiker died in Badlands National Park after running out of water. The worst of the heat wave for much of the Northeast is expected today, with temperatures in some cities expected to reach almost 100 degrees. New York City opening cooling centers to help people without air conditioning find relief.
It's just too hot. Yeah. It's just way too hot.
Organizers shortened the New York Triathlon this weekend due to the heat. Boston is postponing its competition. Well, thankfully, here across the metro, temperatures are letting up a little bit because this week it was brutal for people without air conditioning.
Yes, going in depth, the city of Denver reports about 30% of homes don't have AC. Those are primarily older homes and most homes in low-income communities. Contact Denver 7's Rob Harris has been getting answers on this hot topic for renters with no AC or broken air conditioners.
The first thing to know, in the state of Colorado, your landlord is not required to provide air conditioning in your unit.
There is no obligation that people have air conditioning in their homes. When you're buying a house or renting a house, if air conditioning is important to you, you want to make sure it's there.
Now, having said that, things may be different if your landlord already provides you with air conditioning and then it stops working. Hamrick says more than likely, your management will be obligated to fix it within a reasonable period of time.
Reasonable period of time can be a bit arbitrary and changes on the fact pattern, and certainly with all the supply chain interruptions that people are seeing, things aren't happening as fast as they used to or would like them to.
Colorado's law of habitability requires working heat for safe living. Right now, air conditioning doesn't fall in that category. Could that change? Hamrick says it's possible, but there are actually other initiatives being pushed that could get in the way.
A lot of local governments are enacting ordinances that require housing providers to limit the amount of energy used by their residents. And air conditioning may very well be a luxury in these energy rationing schemes that you just don't see as often as you do now.
And that was Rob Harris reporting. If your apartment and house does not have air conditioning and it stops working, Hamrick says it's important to give your landlord or management company written notice right away. They're then required to get it fixed within a reasonable amount of time. But again, what counts as a reasonable amount of time is subjective, and that can change with different factors.
A special honor for a Lakewood police officer who shot and killed the suspect in a deadly shooting spree last year. Cheyenne Frontier Days paid tribute to Agent Ashley Ferris last night. A special announcement was made over the PA system recognizing her for her bravery. Ferris was shot while exchanging gunfire with the suspect who is accused of killing 5 people. She spent 5 months recovering from her injury before returning back to work in May.
If you're about to fill up your tank before your work week kicks off, we've got you covered. We're getting a look at the latest gas prices this morning and where you might be able to find some cheaper prices. Plus, FedEx won't be delivering on Sundays anymore. Why you're going to have to wait a little longer for those deliveries now.